And we're joined by Stephen Johnston, the independent candidate in West Kelowna Peachland. Why would you run as an independent?
Well, we've done one of these videos before as a BC United candidate, but so for me, I've been in the race since February, Kent.
Yes.
And my commitment to the community has been unwavering ever since, and nothing has changed. So for me, it was just a matter of waiting when Kevin kind of capitulated on that fateful day.
Kevin Falcon.
Yeah, on August 28th, we had heard in this press conference that they're going to work to build the best team possible to defeat the NDP. So I kind of sat there, I said, all right, I'm sort of expecting a tap on the shoulder. We'll just wait and see what happens, be patient. But when the call never came, it was just, the commitment has never changed. So I just got back in as an independent.
It did seem that the impression was left at that news conference that Falcon and Rustad would look at each riding and pick the person who has the best credentials or the best ability to win. That didn't really seem to happen.
It didn't seem to happen in our case. Like, on the west side, especially at the time, we've actually just had an NDP candidate announce on the writ drop on Saturday. But, it was two candidates, one that is relatively unknown, and then myself, who is a city councilor, regional district director. I've been in the community serving for well over the last decade in that local government capacity, on committees and, prior to being on council, on committees, both provincially and municipally. And then, having grown up on the west side my whole life too. So I've got great connections, great network, and understand the issues probably better than most.
Okay, the big argument people make is don't do that. If for those people that think that the NDP government needs at least 2 minutes in the penalty box, you'll only split the vote, split the right wing or non-NDP vote.
Yeah. So the vote split, the more and more I've thought about this, and we've done a lot of thinking and work on this over the past few weeks, and it really is a very convenient narrative that seems to be supported by both the major parties to kind of drive out the competition and herd people into two very polar opposite choices, right? So by being involved, if you're in a riding that has a high caliber independent, who, like myself, and people like Michael Humer and Ashley Ramsey, who are vetted by the official opposition party of BC, you actually have democratic choice freely at your disposal. So you get the opportunity to look at your candidates and say, who's best suited to represent me and my riding and advocate for our needs in Victoria? And I think that's a unique opportunity.
Okay, generally speaking, running as an independent, it's a long shot.
As an independent, I'm not an independent though. So typical independents, they get 75 signatures on their Elections BC form, they submit it and they're a candidate, right? We go through a criminal record check, a 50-page vetting application, and it's like a rigorous process to become, so the BC United Party was convinced they needed to bring the best candidates forward possible, which any party should be doing.
So you got there differently,
so
but still you're unaffiliated with a party, and a lot of people vote by parties. So, but you don't. You seriously think that that you're in the running here?
Yeah, I wouldn't be running if I didn't think I could win. I had someone call me, and I've probably had about 5 or 6 of these calls saying, hey, got to step down, got to make way for the Conservative Party. And I said, well, here's why I'm running, and I'll tell them my story. And they say, okay, hey, nobody's arguing that you're the best candidate. You are the best candidate. It's just we can't split the vote. And I said, my question is, have you asked the other guy? And they say, well, what do you mean? I said, well, have you asked the other guy what you just asked me? And they said, well, no, I don't even know who the other guy is.
Right. Okay.
So it's just a really interesting perspective. I think what we have the opportunity to do is actually choose the best candidate. And that's what should matter most to you as a voter. It should be like, who knows the issues, who has the relationship, who's built the trust, who has the integrity. Put that person in Victoria to advocate for your needs. And what the pundits and the legislative correspondents are saying is that they really do believe we'll be in minority government territory where these independents, a group of us, could really hold the balance of power. And I do believe that's what's going to happen. And in that instance, that is a wonderful opportunity for a riding like West Kelowna Peachland, like all the ridings that have high quality independence, because now all of a sudden you have the ability to advocate and make impact in a way that's really never happened before.
Is there anything about what you're hearing from the Conservative Party that you don't like? Why not vote Conservative if you're on the west side and your politics are similarly aligned to yours?
Well, I think the value is that you have 3 parties to choose from on the west side. One is the NDP. It represents the status quo, a way forward that I think we drastically need to break away from. Or you have 2 candidates that represent a change away from the NDP. So myself, like I've been open about, I'll be an ally for the Conservative Party. And so you have two candidates that you get to select from. So you have this luxury of the best choice.
Right. So you're
To
not
get
going
the
to be
same result,
yeah,
to actually get a
right.
better result if you choose the best choice, in my opinion.
Really, it's kind of a choice between two conservatives. One that
Yeah.
that has been selected to be the official candidate, and you saying, no, I can do better.
Yeah, absolutely.
You were mentioning in our discussion prior to this interview that they're organizing all candidates forums, and you're the only one that wants to go.
Well, so I was at a Greater Westside Board of Trade Business After Hours event last Thursday, and they were announcing that they have this upcoming candidates debate on October 3rd at Emmanuel Church on the West Side, and I'm excited. I geared up. I said yes right away. This is what democracy means, and this is what it looks like. And they said, well, at this point, it's going to be a Q&A session with Stephen because nobody else is. They said that at that time there wasn't an NDP candidate, there's no Green candidate, and the Conservative candidate had declined. So I said, hey, I hope we still do the event, and they said, absolutely,
Yeah.
we'll go ahead. So I look forward to it.
Maybe the NDP will show up and we'll have something to talk about anyway.
Yeah, this is what you got to do.
Terrific. Good to meet you again. And now we've got it straight. You know, we have to replace our older interviews because the circumstances keep changing.
Yeah.
Do you think next time around, the next time we vote provincially, things will be a little easier to follow?
I do. I think what will happen is once, we elect our new MLAs, I think the sober minds around the table will, over the course of the next term, have to come together and create a coalition free enterprise government that will come forward in 2028 to be the party that represents that right side.
All right.
So this will be a once-in-a-lifetime election, I think.
All right, we'll see how it goes. Thanks again,
Yeah.
and thank you for watching Kelowna Now.
Take care.
We don't just report the news, we live here too. We're your neighbors, bringing you stories that matter to all of us. No government funding, no outside influence. Kelowna Now, local, independent. News you can trust.